Hey, hey, hey. Okay, so I wanted to do like a little rebuttal video. I probably might start doing rebuttal videos. I be loving TikTok and like the things people be saying and what they be talking about. So this one for me, I was like, yo, I gotta post this and I gotta make a video of it. So I'm gonna show the video and then we could talk about it. All right, so here it is. So this is you probably can't see it a little bit because I know it's the light. I don't know, but okay. So I'm just gonna play it. Let me see. Can I hit it from here? Okay, this is what it says. We wish our mother chose a man that would have still been in. She did. You can't for. Okay, so basically, you hear a guy, you hear him. We wish, our mothers would have chose a man that would have still been around. Granted, true. A lot of us felt that way. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us felt like, Ma, you know what I'm saying? What's going on with this dude? In my situation, I'm Generation X, and I was raised by a woman who's very strong and feels like she doesn't need a man for anything. So I also adopted that mentality for a long period of time. But I understand why he's upset because when you're involved with somebody and you're having kids, you're not thinking about what's best for the kids. I know when I had my son, I wasn't thinking about, oh, maybe I should have, a stable relationship first. Maybe I should have, some money saved up. Maybe I should have a proper house for him, to stay in. Because for the most part, I was in the hood, most of my life. I just moved to a decent neighborhood, 6 years ago, and I'm 43. So my whole life was, in the hood, urban area, projects, and stuff of that nature. So I definitely get what he's saying, but at the same time, listen to what she says. So again, I feel what he's saying, but we need to stop taking all of the responsibility, putting all the responsibility on the mom or the present parent or the parent that wants to be there, because it's a certain duty of the absentee parent to do what they need to do to make sure that the child is taken care of, regardless if you and the woman aren't together anymore. All right, so now listen to what homegirl says. So she sends a rebuttal back. Somebody to stay. And I've come to the conclusion that a lot of y'all hold on to those delusions of grandeur that you had as a child. Because the one that stayed, you experienced their anger, their happiness, their discomfort. You knew everything about them. You knew that certain things made them tick, and you felt the effects of it, but you never experienced that with the absent parent. So you fantasize that the absent parent is the one that's going to take you away and give you this better life and never have you feeling any type of hurt. Right. When in fact, your able-bodied absent parent didn't even love you enough to stay. And I'm not talking about staying in the relationship. Right. They didn't even love you enough to stay in your life. So what I don't get is, how do you have so much animosity towards the one that stayed? Why is it their fault that another able-bodied adult decided to walk out of their child's life? Because you don't have to dwell within the same household in order to successfully co-parent. All right now. You literally don't. That's a word. The thing is, how can you cut so much slack for someone who wasn't even court ordered to stay away from you? There was nothing keeping them out of your life but a few words, if that, from the parent that stayed. The school never stopped them from coming up to the school to eat lunch with you. The school never stopped them from going on field trips with you. The doctor's office never stopped them from coming to your doctor's appointments with you. Your coach never said they couldn't come up to your Little League games or whatever games that you had. But you have so much to say about the one that's dealing with their own abandonment trauma. You get that? Not to mention how they could have been raised. And dealing with all of that trauma and trying to do the best that they can to raise you. That's the one that's at fault, right? Let the fantasy go. We're living in a real world. They didn't stay because they didn't want to. So let's go ahead and let the truth come out. They didn't want the hassle of raising you. It was never about how much of a difficult person your mom was to deal with or because she chose the wrong guy. No. They didn't want to raise you. Okay? Sad but true. Some people don't want to be a father. Some people don't want to be a mother. Mm-hmm. Your absent parent did not care to stay. And of course, they would want to be a part of your life as an adult. All the hard work been done. You know what I mean? Because what do they literally need to do for you now? All right, all right. So yeah, I was like, yes, definitely, definitely. I don't think my son ever felt any animosity towards me about that. I never felt any animosity towards my mother about the man that she chose. I did. I was upset with her when I was raised by another man. So that's my dad. I don't use the word stepmother, brother, father, or half sister. I just everybody is who they are. So my dad raised me, and I was younger than 5. So I had a man in my life that took care of me and treated me like I came from his nuts. And this man didn't have any kids. You understand what I'm saying? So if he's capable and able of putting his whole world into being a man in my mom's life and raising her daughter as his own, there's no way in the world that a biological parent can't do the same. You know what I'm saying? So I completely agree with her. I didn't listen to Homeboy's full video, but from how he started off, I know it came from a place of hurt, and I know it probably went to, bashing his mother and look where I'm at now. I never had a man. It's because of your choices and this and that. Yes, the choices women make, our mothers make, that I make, definitely affects a child, regardless of how you want to ice it over or not. Who the people you date affects the children. You understand what I'm saying? And for me, and for me, like I said, I was raising them and with a 2-parent home. You know what I'm saying? My dad was there. Me and my dad was I would say a lot closer to me and my mom were. You know what I mean? Because I was with him every step of the way. He had his own he was self-employed with this vending company, and summertimes, he scooped me up. He taught me what work in me. I learned how to be administrative assistant. He taught me how to bowl, how to shoot basketballs, football, took me fishing. I learned about, he would do his own taxes and stuff. When he got his first check for $1,000 he made in a week, and back in the '80s, that was, something great. He ordered, signed it, and hung it up on my door for me, letting me know this is what you can be. You know what I'm saying? I had everything. My room was flooded with dolls and basketballs, and I got a new TV every year. You know what I'm saying? So this man, what I'm saying, was doing his due diligence. You understand what I mean? And for whatever reason, my mom got pregnant with my brother when I was 12, 11 or something like that, and they separated. So that year I was very pissed with my mom because I'm hearing her, or get out, leave. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, ma, like the first the first dude that you like, he ain't trying to do nothing, and he got a whole nother child with the same birthday as me. Like he doesn't want to be here like this man does. But I don't know what they was going through. I don't know what he didn't do for her, or what she wasn't seeing in him, and vice versa, or whatever. But I just knew what he meant to me. So I was upset with that for my mother, but my biological father, not at all. He would come in and out when he felt like it. You know what I mean? And I would be excited because every child wants to be with their biological father. I done been in some really, really messed up situations. So, he was staying someplace that wasn't clean. I came back with the wingworms. So, you know what I'm saying? I get how dude felt about situation. I could see where his anger come from, but homegirl is 100% on point. These kids, they don't understand that it's the absentee parent who doesn't want to be there. A lot of us, we're not talking about the women who leave the door open. We're not talking about, we know that there's women that make it hell for y'all to have a relationship with your child. We're not talking about those women. Because I'm one of those women that left my door open, that has the door open. I'm one of those women that have the same number. I'm one of those women that still keep in contact with the family. I'm one of those women that have driven my son multiple times out of state, had to come and pick him up out of state. I'm one of those women who, even though my son was in a compromising situation where the cops had my son in custody because, his father and whatever they were doing over there, weren't the cops coming, still after that, I still let my son go. You understand what I'm saying? So when things pop up in their life, pivotal things in their life, and a phone call isn't made, time isn't spent, anything. My son just turned 18, graduated high school, has a bank account, has a car, driver's license, well spoken, very respected, well liked, and I could be wrong, but I guarantee you he didn't receive not a near anything. He didn't receive a text message, I'm proud of you. You looking good, hey, congratulations, something. Nothing. But they will sit up and will be other places with other people and their kids. And the thing about it is that I do take responsibility for it, because now I have, that's why I stopped and made sure I broke the generational curse. Because if you look at the situation with me and my son, it's the same thing my mom did. It just repeated itself. Both of our kids' fathers are street dudes. Both of them been in jail. Both of them do not, make any effort to have a relationship with their kids. And it's the same thing. That's why, when people be so quick to like, oh, why you only have one child? Because I didn't want to keep the cycle going. You know what I'm saying? I knew enough as a mother to say, okay, you know what? I was young. I didn't know any better. I'm going to make sure I do better. You understand what I mean? I wasn't going to keep this cycle going, because I was in a really bad place. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been the best one. I was trying to figure some things out. I was broken and hurt. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I came up in a really loving environment. Once my dad and my mom separated or whatever, I moved out of a two-parent, household in a decent spot to the projects. So now, that whole culture shock was hard. You know what I mean? Because when you're not born and raised in the projects, y'all know it's hell every day. Every day somebody's looking at you funny. Every day somebody want to start some shit. Every day somebody want to ask you questions. You don't know who to trust. People want to jump you and all kinds of things. So it's very traumatic. Of the choices that people make. And I can kind of see now, especially like when parents or people do stay in the household and raise their kids, even though they know that them and their spouse have, a very toxic relationship. I feel like the lady said, you don't have to be in a household to raise the parent. I mean, to raise the child. No child should be in a toxic environment. You know what I'm saying? So I completely understand and get what she's saying. And I agree wholeheartedly with her. You know what I'm saying? Don't be so upset with your mom. Be upset with your father, because a lot of us, like I said, we have the door open. A lot of us understand, okay, you weren't mature enough or old enough to maybe take care of the kids. So, you know what I'm saying? All right, I can let a couple of years go by. Okay, my son is 18 now. 5 years done gone by, nothing. 10 years done gone by, nothing. 15 years done gone by, nothing. Now he's about to be 20, and what? What have you done in your life to try to build something with your child? So I completely agree with her. I completely agree with her. I'm not trying to be biased. Y'all know I'm all for the men. I'm all for, our melanated men. I'm a very big advocate for them. But I have a serious problem with absentee fathers. And a lot of it has to do with because I had an absentee father, and because I now had a child with one, as well. So yeah, I've heard every excuse. I've heard whatever. And I even try to wrap my brain around some things. But the men that I know that should have threw up their hands and said, you know what, I'll just wait till a child get 18, are still doing what they need to do. They're still living in a basement, paying all this money in child support and getting weekend visits if she feels like it. You know what I'm saying? But it's showing the child that even though I'm going through hell, I'm going to make it my business to let you know that you're important and that you matter, regardless if we weren't ready for you. But regardless if whatever the case may be, but I'm here now. You may not have a lot of money. Make a phone call once a week. Every other, or every few days. Hey, how you doing? You may not even have to have a conversation. Just sometime your presence alone. But people don't even do that. So I completely agree with her. I'm glad she posted that. I'm glad she said what she said, because a lot of people get it twisted. You know what I mean? It's not always, oh, well, you should have did better. What if they didn't know better? I know I didn't know anything. I didn't know no better at 20 something years old. When I saw my son's father, I was like, oh, he's cute. Let me hang out with him for a while. I didn't look at him and say, oh my God, I think I'm in love. I think I'm about to walk down the aisle, y'all. That never came into my mind. I don't even know. I can't even remember the last time that even came into my mind with the type of guys I was dating. I dated guys who I felt was, on my level. And that's what most of us do. Like, look at the people that you're dating, or look at a person who's dating somebody. They're dating who they feel is their worth. You understand what I'm saying? Like, how you see yourself is who you pick to date. And all the men that I picked were either was either alcoholics, or either smoked too much or something. They were irresponsible. They were in the streets. Yeah, you know what I mean? Now I step back, I said, ho, ho, ho. It took me even leaving that environment, and that's a whole nother another video. I had to come out of the environment because I kept getting tired of the constant cycle, the constant cycle. And I knew I wanted something better for my son. I knew I didn't want him, around seeing me doing this and doing that. And I know I didn't want him growing up in a certain environment because, I just want to see what it like if I did give him the opportunity to be raised in another environment. So I moved out here, to this nice neighborhood. Been out here, what, 7 years now? I moved out here when my son was just going into middle school. So it was a great time in his life. He's phenomenal. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times, a lot of you fathers feel like, oh, well, he's doing good. He don't need me. No, he does. He needs you for emotional support. I had to learn out things about him and his body and how he's coming into maturity and things of that nature, like the hard way. One of my son's testicles was swollen because I was sending him to practice with boxes on because I thought he needed to breathe. I didn't know he needed compression. And you know what I'm saying? I literally had to like now turn to the coaches like, look, as y'all can see, I'm a single mother. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, I'm out here. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of things that I had to deal with. I had to put my S on my chest. Like, look, I know I'm black. I know, I'm not sitting out here with no blonde hair and no lace front and no blue eyes and trying to talk like whatever. I'm coming as a sister. I got my hair braided. I'm like, hey, listen, and they were they were open. I'm actually a lot cooler with the fathers on the football teams than the moms because I had to be the dad most of the time. I had to bring him to practice. I had to help him, with his runs and read plays and all this other stuff. So, and plus I'm a tomboy anyway by heart. I love football. But yeah, I had to do all of that. I've reached out multiple times and said, hey, he's having a game, he's graduating, whatever. I remember one time he called, I think was his 8th grade graduation. I think the day of the graduation, he called and said he couldn't make it. You know what I mean? But my mother and brother was already there because, like I said, I already knew his pattern. You know what I'm saying? Those, things and whatever you got other people believing, like I already knew. Let me not depend on this person because I already know. You know what I mean? And I've been there, with my son trying to figure out what's going on, or why, he's over there, or why he's and the crazy thing is a lot of y'all will sit up here and you'll post your interactions with other kids and knowing that you're not having none with your own. How do you sleep at night? Like how how do you wake up every morning like it is a beautiful day in Zamunda? You know what I'm saying? It just blows my mind. But anyway, we don't care about that. Like I said, my son is doing a phenomenal job. He has he has a license. Like I said, he got a bank account. He got it going on. You know what I mean? He's not staying in the house for hours playing video games. My son is never home. Either he's out playing basketball, AutoZone, his friends going to the mall, to the movies. They going out to eat. They chilling. They over a friend house. They at a pool. You understand what I'm saying? They're doing things. So it's possible, ladies. Don't harp yourself up like, oh God. No, we're not going to know how to take care of a child by ourselves, especially of the opposite sex. What? So, yeah. If you're one of those kids and you angry with your mom and all this other stuff, no, be angry with your dad. Yeah, hold your mom accountable, but you can't really. Are you going to hold a 2-year-old accountable for kicking over some juice? No, they don't know any better. A lot of people did not know any better. When my mom had me, she was what? She got pregnant at 19. Do you think she knew? Oh, this is the perfect man. Whatever. And to make it so bad, my mom and my dad was married. Excuse me, are. Still, you know what I mean? So she took the proper steps or whatever, but it's just he wasn't with it. He want to be in the streets and he want to be irresponsible, and it's still like that. You know what I mean? So it's just I had to break the generational curse. I had to step back and say, okay, I'm moving out of this environment. I'm going to raise him in another environment, and I'm going to have some serious talks with him. And I think another reason why dude feels upset is because his mother didn't sit down and have a one-on-one talk with him and say, listen, I apologize. Maybe she did. I don't know. But I think what really kind of bridged the gap between me and my son is I was 100 with him. Look, I didn't understand. I really wasn't in love with your father. It was just I was young. I was running the streets. He was cool. He was, ain't stressed me out. I liked him. We kind of hung around. I got pregnant. He wanted to stay. He said he wanted to be a father in your life. So that's what happens. Because I said to him, because we're 5 years apart, I said to him, listen, I know you're young. You don't have to, be in his life or whatever, but I want to keep him. I got a 50% chance of pregnancy because, through Planned Parents and whatever, they gave us birth control, gave us, infertility issues and all. That's a whole nother video. But, I had that conversation with him, you know what I mean? And he was there the first maybe 5 years, but he was there because I made it easy for him to be there because he can stay in my house and take his son to school and be in his life. But as soon as I wanted to break off the whole situation, it's like, okay, since we're not together, then you're not together with your child. Then they come and they move out of state. And the thing about it is, it's like, okay, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. You need to move on because I'm moving on, but still, you have a responsibility. My man that I'm with now, his kids live in a whole nother state. He has multiple, not one. This man only had one at this particular time. Literally the past couple of months, he has been back and forth, graduations, birthday, proms, whatever, whatever. This man has to take off from work. This man has to rent cars. This man has to spend money. This man has to change his life. He has to stop, drop, and roll. So it is very hard for me to believe that same thing can't be done for one child. But like I said about the cycle, like even just looking at the whole situation with like how me and my mother are with our first kids, it's the same thing. The men we had kids with left their one child to go be with another woman that already had kids. They had more kids with her, and then are over there. And the people like, oh, well, what's this? Y'all gotta understand. A lot of times, and like she said, a lot of times people aren't built a certain way. People aren't don't have certain morals and values. People don't have certain convictions in their life. And most of them do. That's why they turn to a lot of drugs. So a lot of them, they drink and they smoke to kind of like, fight their own demons. But people will go where they're being celebrated, regardless if they're being celebrated for smoking crack or not. People will go where they can be irresponsible. You understand what I'm saying? So they will go places where, because both of the relationships, you can see like these men, aren't somebody that that you want to hold down or that you want to build something with, but they do have certain characteristics of them that may be like, oh, I feel sorry for you and all this other stuff, and I'll help. But it's just constant back and forth. Together, not together, together, not together, together, to not together. And it's just a constant toxic situation, So, and you hope that the kids will see like, look, this is, is this what you want? Is this your king? You know what I mean? So, but for me, I'm grateful. Like I said, I had those hard conversations with my son, and I was like, look, I made a mistake. This is what's going on. I'm not sure why he doesn't communicate with you. I'm not sure why this is going on, but I do know that, when you was a child, he was there. He came this, he did this. Like, I don't kick nobody back in. I kind of like try to help the situation still. But it's like, what do you expect a person to do when you are making no effort? So that's why you have to sit down with your kids and have to have them conversations and not be with this attitude like, oh, well, it just is what it is. And a lot of y'all do that. And I guarantee you his mom probably is one of those people that, just shut him and his feelings down. I had to deal with a couple of emotional nights holding him and explain to him and not understanding why, he said he was going to do something and not do it. I know he understands it now, and I know he's okay with it. Just like me, I told my father, my biological father, I accept you for who you are. You know what I'm saying? I said, but I did want it to be known that when I get married, my dad was going to walk me down the aisle. You know what I mean? And now that he's gone, God rest his soul, I'm going to have my uncle walk me down the aisle. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? I accept you for who you are. I accept the fact that when I get a phone call from you, it's either because you want some money or because you need me to do you a favor. It's never like, hey, daughter, how you doing? I miss you. Why don't we go out to breakfast? On me. And that's fine. We have to really start accepting people for who they are. When they tell you who they are, believe them. Some of us be trying to keep prying and prying. It's like it's like some of y'all be working on an old Mustang or car for decades and it's still not working. You don't put new tires, engine, everything. It's just not working. Let it go. Sell it. And I just didn't want to keep that cycle going on. So I changed my mind. I changed my environment. I changed my mindset. And now I have a man where I can call him to come pick me up in his car that's registered and insured in his name. He can take me out to a nice restaurant and pay for it with his credit card, with his name on it. You understand what I'm saying? Someone that has a job, that's been committed to, a place of employment over 5 years, that has some stuff in his, that has everything in his name except Instagram and Facebook. You understand what I'm saying? So my mindset had definitely changed. It was like, no, I do want a man and need a man in my life. Absolutely. Absolutely. I still struggle. You know what I'm saying? I had to talk with my man the other day. I'm like, I'm trying to learn how to be. Like, I be feeling nervous sometimes because I be feeling like maybe I need to be more affectionate with him because, like I said, I've been raised so hard by hard women, because that's what they had to do. No one else was there to do it. So they had to work. They had to take care of the bills. They had to hold us down or whatever. I said, so I don't know. Am I supposed to be caressing you? Or, cause I go to my man house, he'll be on one end of the couch. I'm on the other end and we just watch a TV. And when it comes time for us to get together, we get together. But we not like, and maybe that's not a bad thing, but I'm telling him about it because I feel convicted about it because I'm like, I want to, you know what I mean? And he's just laughing. He's like, don't worry about it. Just be you. So I'm grateful that I can just be me and not whatever because, like I said, a lot of stuff I don't know. You know what I mean? So, yeah, the thought of even living together and marriage like kind of scares me. And most of us, be like, oh, I can't wait for this to happen. But if you sit and think about it, it's just like, so again, she had made some great points. I know I went on a tangent. And yeah, I just want to let you guys know. And I know a lot of us are still hurt. You know what I mean? Like me, I haven't seen or spoken to my biological father. Like I said, he usually comes in and out every so often. It's going on, I think, like 3 or 4 years now. Nobody knows where he is. And I was like, well, what if? And I asked, I had to, like I said, I had that hard conversation. Okay, what if you get a call stating that he passed or whatever? I'm gonna feel some type of way. I have this whole man's face, practically a Dave got his forehead and his nose. I have his last name. My nickname is Marty because his name is Martin. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not like he was completely MIA. This man is on my birth certificate. Of course, I'm gonna feel some kind of way, but I definitely am not gonna feel no type of way towards my mother, who did her very best and still made decisions to make sure that I had a good childhood. Like I said, my brother didn't come to what, 10, 12, 11 years, 12 years after. So yes, you absentee parents, you are at fault because you decide that you don't want to be in that child's life, especially when you are dealing with a woman who has an open door policy for you to come anytime you want. My son's father has been to my house, and I was like, hey, you can come in, you can stay tonight. I pick him up, drop him off like this. There's never a problem. So when a person decides that whatever, it's not the mother, it's them. It's them. So yeah, the mother can take some responsibility, but at some point in time, the responsibility needs to be taken off the moms. The responsibility needs to be put now on the absentee fathers, because if they're capable of breathing, like she said, able, they ain't handicapped, they ain't in prison, they're not in a hospital with tubes coming out of them. They're able to get up and turn up. They're able to get up and make sure that their kids are all right. All of their kids, not just a third of them or half of them. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Not everybody is 100% ready to have kids, and that's understandable. But after a while, okay, they're there now. I wasn't one of those type, I can understand if I was one of those type women like, oh no, we gonna have this baby. A lot of y'all do it. A lot of y'all have these kids by these men to try to keep them, or to try to make sure you always have a connection. I wasn't that type of woman. He knows that. you know. But if I could do it all over again, I would. To get my son, oh yes, I would. I ain't even gonna sit here and fake the funk. I ain't gonna sit here and be like, oh, what? I would do it again. He's phenomenal. I love him. He's so dope. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of do a rebuttal to that. I think she's 100% right. I think, and I said this, I think 100 times on here. But other than that, y'all have a great day. Over and out. Let me know what y'all think. Leave some, conversation in the comments. But for the most part, I think everybody's going to agree with me. I think everyone will agree with me. All right, y'all. Over and out. Oh, I was supposed to do the peace sign. I don't know what this was about. Sorry about that.